Hello YouTube world, it's me again at the Signal Box. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video today. Thank you very much for watching, and wherever you are out in the world, a big thank you and shout out to my regular subscribers, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll crack on with today's video. So whilst I was out today, something arrived in the post, and I received a notification on my device that there had been a delivery in my absence. So what has been delivered? I wonder. Mystery brown box. I wonder what it is. I've got to put my finger over it. But it's a Hornby product. That's a big reveal. So something really nice is in here. And I shall get this out of the box and we'll have a look. And this is what was inside that cardboard box. This is beautiful. This is the latest Hornby Railways J15 00 scale tender engine. It's a J15 as mentioned. It's a Great Eastern Railway engine, of course, and she's finished in Great Eastern Railway blue with the red side crank rods. We're going to get it out of the box in a minute and have a proper look. But the reason I wanted this particular J15 is because this is the one that's in the Great Eastern Railway blue, and it's very identical to the Great Eastern Railway J68 buck jumper that I've got from Accurascale. It's in ultramarine blue. Now the ultramarine blue is a shade slightly lighter than the Great Eastern Railway's blue, and we'll have a look at this in a minute. We'll get it out of the box and we'll have a proper look. But this is the reason why I wanted to get one of these, is because it will go with my Accurascale Great Eastern buck jumper in almost identical livery. But as mentioned, one is in ultramarine blue and the other one's in Great Eastern Railway blue. This is the correct shade of Great Eastern Railway's blue, as we'll see in a minute when I get out of the box. The box is obviously standard Hornby. This is pretty much their box standard packaging now for their locos. A nice little bit of history on the back there. It says this J15 060 was completed by the Great Eastern Railway in February 1912 as the Y14 class, number 564, and after the camera stopped blurring, and after a service life of 50 years and 6 months, which spanned ownership by the London North Eastern Railway (LNER) and BR British Railways, it entered preservation upon withdrawal as BR number 65462 in September 1962. It's now owned by the Midland and Great Northern Joint Railway Society. It has been restored to steaming condition at the North Norfolk Railway. Though it is currently under overhaul, the model is finished in its preserved condition as Great Eastern Railway's 564, complete with Westinghouse air pumps on the smoke box side. Right. It's a lovely little box, obviously giving you all the technical data and information. We'll now pause this video momentarily, grab yourself a beverage of your choice, and we'll get this out of the box and have a proper look at it, shall we? Okay, well, here she is out of the box. And what a little cracker she is. What a beautiful little engine. Isn't that lovely? That really is a very handsome little J15. A very sturdy looking, tidy model, if I must say so. Straight out of the box, it does not disappoint. It's a lovely looking thing, and this is the one that, as mentioned from the box notes, that is preserved at the North Norfolk Railway in Sheringham in Norfolk, and it's currently undergoing overhaul, I believe, but it is in steam normally. And I think this is one of the, if not the surviving J15 class of the Great Eastern legacy. But she's beautiful. First thing that you'll notice when you look at this model out the box, my filming and camera doesn't do it justice for the paint finish on this thing. It is absolutely beautiful. Let's just slightly rotate it, and we'll start from the smoke box end, and we'll have a little look at what we've got. So if we come down to the smoke box end, for that profile there, you'll notice first of all the separately picked out smoke box dart and the smoke box door hinges are separately picked out in that silver finish. And then on the front running plate there, you've got a little bit of moulded detail, including some separately fitted lamp iron brackets. You've got a screw link coupling hook in the middle of the buffer beam, together with that nice lettering, which is, the loco number is 564, by the way. The buffers are sprung, so these buffers are, as you can see, sprung, which is always a nice thing. And then you've got a lamp iron bracket sitting on top, just in front of the chimney there. That typical little stovepipe Great Eastern Railway chimney is a big trademark of all the Eastern region little engines, buck jumpers, and obviously J15s, this class. Typical little character of the Great Eastern Railway with these little stovepipe chimneys, and they look absolutely brilliant on these engines. The separately painted red boiler bands on there, they look to be really nice and crisp, together with the black lining over the top of that red boiler band, really makes it nicely stand out. Separately fitted handrails on the side there. On my sample I've received today, looks pretty tidy. Separately fitted whistle there, and obviously the safety valve equipment. Doesn't look too bad, does it, so far? I think that looks okay. That nice brass trim around the end of the boiler at the smoke box end there, which matches that pipework and everything else on it, really makes it pop. Very handsome engine. And if you look at the cab, we swing it around this way a little bit, we come down with the camera and we'll have a little bit of a look at the cab. Look at that. You can see all the separate controls on the driver and fireman side there. The handbrake wheel, the regulator, the injectors, the all of the equipment on that cab is basically really a lovely feature. And I think one of the cool things about any locomotive model of any brand is that if you can look at a loco cab, a steam engine, and you can see controls that look as though you could actually move them with your hand and do something with them, that really makes the impression worthwhile. It really does finish the model off. And you think we've come a long way for detailed locomotive cabs, especially steam engines. Back in the days of, my goodness, Hornby Triang and Hornby in the 1980s and 90s that had just the moulded cab detail. Now we've come to this stage now where you can buy an off-the-shelf ready-to-run product with so much detail on it. It's such a big thing these days to have a loco with so much detail, and that's obviously why you pay the price tag. The tender itself is really nice. Again, it matches the cab interior, that mustardy kind of colour. They've finished it off with this sample, and the wooden seat top finishes there, that very basic wooden box type cab arrangement inside there for the crew to sit on. Obviously tools underneath there as well, I'd imagine. And if we look at the tender itself from that profile shot, we've got a very believable coal load on top, which is the correct scale size, by the way. And I know I'm one to talk because I know I've got quite a few models that have got quite large chunks of coal that are quite big for the tenders or the bunkers, but I think uniformity sometimes can present a problem. If you have the same size coal on every single engine, you've got to have a little bit of variation. But for this particular sample here, I think possibly there's a good chance maybe that you can gently remove this moulded piece of coal and you can fit and add your own coal if you wish. There's a slot down the side there for the fireman's ironmongery, i.e. the long-handed shovel, the pricker, the dart, and the pokers, and all the things that the fireman would need, obviously, to do his job. That's all correctly modelled there, complete with a bracket there that's shaped to rest it all on. Moving around the back of the loco, let's have a look at the back. That's the typical little J15 profile there. I love that. The back obviously has separately fitted handrails, separately fitted lamp iron brackets there. the loco number, which is 564, and again sprung buffers. There is an indication there for a hole for a vacuum pipe, which is nice to see. And also there's quite a few things that are on there to look at, which are quite tidy. You've got those guide irons there at the back there, which is quite nice, and then pocket coupling on the front, sorry, on the rear. You do get another coupling to fit on the front in the little goodies pack. I'll show you in a minute. The nice little water cap filler on there, and again it's a very tidy model, pretty much standard these days for what you pay for from Hornby. I know I was sort of singing praises about Acura scale, and I still do, but Hornby do produce some very nice models. If you're after something specific and unique, something like this, obviously there's a Great Eastern, man. This is definitely, it's got to be in the collection, isn't it? It's just got to be one to have. She is a lovely model. So with this model, obviously in the box comes the instructions there. There's your bit of paper, your normal standard instructions and the information, but you also get a pair of separately fitted brass etched loco number plates, which is very nice there. Whoops, I've just dropped it. There they are. So these are brass etched, and how you apply these, very simply, what I normally do, I take 2 cocktail sticks and I put on the end of one a piece of blue tack, and then with the other, on a piece of scrap material, I put a tiny bit of super glue, and then with the cocktail stick, just dab the tip of the cocktail stick in it very finely, put it onto the area you're going to put the brass etch thing on, take your cocktail stick with your blue tack on, pick up your item, and very carefully, just very gently press it into place for a few seconds, remove it, and it's there for life. And that's how you do it normally. You can do it with tweezers, however you want to do it, but that's the way I normally do small detail things like these things with. It's much more easier, and it's a bit more hands-freer than getting tweezers and trying to maneuver tweezers with it. Sometimes they can be so fiddly. You need something very fine scale, like a good old cocktail stick and a piece of blue tack, like I said, to pick it up, and then just literally hold it and press it into place gently. More so, hold it in place. The glue will obviously bite with the brass etch, and there you go. But you've got to have a steady hand and a bit of patience to do that. And if you're not quite good at doing that, or you're not sure, you can always get someone else to do it for you, or you can have a go yourself. This is pretty easy to do. So you get these nice brass etched nameplates that go on either side. One goes there and one goes the other side. You also get a little goodie pack of some brake rigging there for, I believe, the loco and the tender. What looks like to be another NEM pocket coupling for the front. We've also got, what else we got there? A nice little vacuum pipe. I think that's for the front and the back, which is nice. And it's got the separately fitted pipe work that goes in some adjacent holes underneath, I'd imagine, so it lines all up nicely. Yeah, and I think there might be some, is there guide irons there? No, it's not, it's the light reflecting, but I think from what I can surmise there is we've got the vacuum pipes, the front and back, a front coupling, and the brake rigging for the tender and the loco. So far that's what you get from what I can see. And yeah, that's that. But that is my Hornby J15 in Great Eastern Railways blue, and that is a cracking little machine. So I can't wait to get this out on the railway when it's all ready. At the moment, the railway's closed for a major resignaling project, so it might be another week or so before I get things done. It's a big project. I've got loads of wiring to do, and as mentioned, once the wiring's done, then I've got to design and build a control panel for all the switches to go in and mount the diagram on there and everything. It's quite a lot of work entailed, so I'm going to just show you this in the meantime, which came today. This is kind of an early early Christmas present from my financial advisor, and this is something I was planning. What the story was basically, I'll try and make a long story short. I saw this on the Hornby website, obviously, about a month or so ago, and it said pre-orders were being taken for this item, specifically for around the fourth quarter of 2025, which means anything really from October all the way through November, December. So the actual Loco arrived a lot sooner than what I expected, but I'm not complaining, so here it is. So that's my Hornby J15 in Great Eastern Railway Blue. Before I close the video, folks, I think what I'll do is just gently turn it on its side. I'll just gently tip her over so we can have a look at a different angle of this locomotive, and I can just show you underneath a little bit. So obviously we've got it's got a plug and play pin with the lead there, which is nothing else what you'd expect. Okay, so the loco and tender are permanently coupled, folks. You can physically separate them by undoing those drawbar screws, and then gently with a specialized tool or a pair of tweezers very carefully lever out that plug from the socket, and then you can physically separate the loco and the tender. Not that you need to do that unless you're going to do something like fit a sound chip in there or something like that, or muck about with it, but the idea is they are staying permanently coupled together. If you look underneath again, there's separately fitted pickups on all of those 6 wheels there. There's tender pickups obviously that go through that lead to the motor, and that assists that with pickup. And then underneath we've got I'm noticing these wheels are actually painted nicely and properly, that Great Eastern blue colour on the actual spokes, which is nice. Well, obviously I'll expect nothing less. Nothing less from Hornby these days. You do get quite a nice model for your money normally. That keeper plate looks pretty basic. There's the couple screws there you take off, and then you can access the gear in there and the drivetrain from that side of things, and body removal if you wish to. I think it's pretty simple. Those nice those nice red painted crank rods, those side crank rods, really make it characteristic as well. It's a lovely model, isn't it? Very pleased with that, and yeah, happy chappy, I think, definitely. That's a lovely little loco. What an engine. Like I said, this will go nice on my railway when it does service next to the Great Eastern Railway buck jumper and ultramarine. That'll look the business. The only thing that I would say is, and I know they haven't put it as a standard feature on this model, I'd give this loco out of 10. I would give this loco 9 out of 10 if you wanted me to rate it as a review or an unbox review. I don't normally do like a rating review on models. I just talk about them and show you it. But the only thing that I'd give this model a 9 instead of a 10 out of 10 is because on the front of the smoke box there, if you notice, it's plain. Obviously it's a Great Eastern Railway liveried J15, and this would have been based on the sort of the original preservation Victorian looking thing. That's the idea, I think. So there's no number that would have been on the front of the smoke box there. But what would have been nice would be a nice little touch. I might have to get this separately. There's a company online out there that do separately produced brass etched shed plates for whatever region you want. You just look up one that you need and tell them what you need, and they'll send it out to you, or a couple in a pack. I think there was about 6 in a pack, something like that. But I need to get a 30A plate, a Stratford loco plate maybe, and yeah, bosh it on there under the dart. That would look really good, a 30A plate on there, letting people know it's from Stratford. There you go. But a lovely little engine, isn't it? I cannot fault this in appearance. Everything on it is good. I've got a J15 already. I've got a plain black one of these, but I think we waited a long time for these to come out. The only thing I've noticed about this model, I'm looking at this, There's a slight, I could be wrong, sometimes I get it wrong, I'm not always right, but if I recall, this particular J15 in this colour up at the Norfolk Railway, the one that I remember seeing, it had one unusual feature about the paint scheme, and that was everything they've got on this paint wise, the shade of blue, the lettering, everything on it, the boiler bands, everything's, that's all correct. However, they've missed one vital thing, the cab roof. The cab roof should be white. This normally was painted white, this bit here. I'm pretty sure that it was running around with a white painted roof, the one that I've seen in photos and stuff like that. But maybe they've chose to do it in a different preserved colour back in the days of the Victorians on the Great Eastern. It was just plain black. Again, I'll have to cross-reference that. If any of you know the answer to that or know more than I, chuck it in the comments box below. But other than that, it's a very, very tidy, handsome looking Great Eastern little beastie. I'll tell you a true story about these J15s. Not this specific loco number, but there was proof of the guys at Stratford Loco Depot back in the day, when these first came out in the Victorian days. They put one of these together from like start to finish, from wheels and chassis and just nothing, to a completely fully steamed engine in just over 9 hours, non-stop. They worked 9 hours and they got the thing assembled from nuts and bolts to a fully steamed engine, and that is a record on paper, and that is impressive for Stratford as a depot, and also for the Great Eastern men that did that. Wow, what an achievement. Just over 9 hours to put one of these together and have it in steam. Well, that was when we had an engineering industry in this country to be proud of back in those days. Anyway, I am going to say ta-ta for now, and hopefully next week I'm going to get on with some wiring, or maybe I'll do some tomorrow if I feel like it. But in the meantime, I just want to show off this latest little addition to my Loco fleet. And there she is. That is my Hornby Great Eastern Railway liveried J15, and the catalogue number, if you're interested, is R30407. So in case you want to note that down for reference, there we are, R30407. It's on the Hornby website. I think there's still some left, but this is a pre-order, so lots of people put this on pre-order. It's quite a popular model to come out in this colour, but yeah, she is a beauty. Look at that. Anyway folks, I'll see you soon in the next video, and we'll have this running on the layout in the next video. More importantly, running it under my new signalling, so that'll be cool. In the meantime, you take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in another video. Take care now. All the best. Bye bye now.